to Hardball. There's a new video making its way around the internet that shows public elementary school children in Burlington, New Jersey, singing about President Obama earlier this year during Black History Month. In this clip you're about to see, we've blurred the students' faces, but pay attention, if you can, to the lyrics on the screen. Let's watch. So, simple question. Was that song appropriate or not? Should a public school teacher instruct children to sing a song about the president? Pat Buchanan is an MSNBC political analyst, and when he was in grammar school, he sang a song to Grover Cleveland, the same as those kids did. And David Corn is the Washington bureau chief for Mother Jones. Patrick J. Buchanan, what is your take on this seemingly, as you read the blogs and listen to some talk radio, it's become sort of an incendiary issue in the past couple of days. What's your view?
Well, you know, Mike, I've got to say I was in the Soviet Union in 1971, and they took us into one of these little daycare centers, and the little kids of the Young Pioneers came out, and they sang to Father Lenin, one of these little Bolshevik hymnals, and I swear, this reminded me of that. But look, Father Lenin and Barack Obama are different. Barack Obama's president of the United States. These kids are very cute. They're singing. I mean, they in unison. I laughed my head off when I saw the thing on the web. But I'll tell you this, I think the teacher comes right out of the Komsomol. She had those little kids working it just perfectly. It's either that, Mike, or I think this is the opening of Daycare Center at Mother Jones Magazine.
David, your turn on that one.
Well, maybe we could use the money on have a sideline enterprise here. I don't think anybody can defend this. What I find funny is that on a day in which we discover there's an Iranian secret nuclear facility, you know, Barack Obama's, was up at the UN talking about securing loose nukes. We have 47 million people unemployed. We still have an economy that's teetering, and, conservative bloggers are getting all worked up about this one classroom. It shouldn't have happened. The teacher should be teaching them maybe about Grover Cleveland, Pat Buchanan's favorite president. But, it shouldn't have happened. End of story. Not everything that appears on the internet has to be a big controversy.
Mike, you went to parochial school. We were marched through little drills like that, but they weren't to Barack Hussein Obama.
The interesting thing, Pat, is when I was in parochial school, we literally, at the beginning of each day, we would say the Pledge of Allegiance, and we would toast the President of the United States, who was then Dwight David Eisenhower.
You would toast?
Yeah.
Were they giving you beers?
With a glass of milk. With a glass of milk.
We did, Mike. We did it. We came in from recess at noon. You gave the Pledge of Allegiance. Didn't you had all the prayers, before school in the morning? You went to Mass, and then you all walked into your classes, but that was done at noon, just like you guys did it up there, but it wasn't Ike. It was FDR, and I know my father was unhappy if we were saying anything nice about him.
I got to tell you guys, I had a very different upbringing. On my way to religious school, we used to sit in the back of the station wagon and chant, LBJ, LBJ, how many kids did you kill today?
Oh, yeah. Well,
I mean, it was different times.
The little red schoolhouse you went to, huh, David?
Now, that was on the way to religious school, Pat.
Pat, and then David,
sure.
Following Pat, let me tell you what I find interesting about this. I agree with David, that this shouldn't have been done. I sort of understand the context of it. The teacher retired at the end of the year. It was probably personal to the teacher. She gets little second and third grade kids to go along with it. But this video that is now rocketing around the internet, combined with the reaction just a couple of weeks ago to the president speaking to school children, I'm wondering, Pat, what's your view on how incendiary the atmosphere is around Barack Obama on the internet and on talk radio. What is causing this? What are they afraid of him?
You know, no, look, conservatives have always been concerned about public education, what children are being taught, and whether traditional values and all this are being driven out. But I'll tell you, Mike, you've got a very good point. What this will do will tend to confirm those folks out there who believe these kids are being indoctrinated in values and beliefs and politics which aren't theirs at home. They're being taken away from their parents. Honestly, I did think of the young pioneers back there when I was chilled. We were with Democrats and Republicans in the height of the Cold War before détente, and these little kids were singing this stuff. You said, geez, what are these kids going to grow up to be? And that is the fear I think you'll find of millions of parents who see this thing out there. The kids are very cute, but there is a sort of chilling aspect to it.
I would hazard a guess that in that particular town, most of the parents probably voted for Barack Obama as well. But nevertheless, you know, this shouldn't have happened. But the question is whether there are people out there ready to pounce on anything. I mean, you had the teabaggers in town here a couple weeks ago running around with posters that made Barack Obama look like Hitler. And you know, I didn't see.
That's nasty stuff, and everybody
it's nasty stuff.
But this is disturbing stuff. This is disturbing, David, in the sense that look, kids go to school; they're not there to be indoctrinated.
Well, you're right, Pat.
This sure looks like it.
No. Listen, we both agree that this should not have happened. The secondary question now becomes: how big a deal is this, and should people be using this to, you know, to fuel the fires that they're already burning on other fronts? I mean, this has nothing to do, obviously, with
Are you saying they shouldn't see this? It shouldn't be on the internet. It should be taken down.
Of course, they should see it, and then this shouldn't happen again. But I mean, when it comes to what's happening in the world at large, what this little 2-minute video from a classroom in New Jersey really is not that significant.
Let me tell you something. You and I can talk about Iran and what their facility is all about, but parents who got, you know, kids are 6 and 7 years old, they say, you know, I sent them to teach them about God. They're very conservative, traditionalists, and they see this on the internet and they say, what's going on in our schools? And it is disturbing to them. I think it's something they ought to see. If it's not representative,
one school,
fine.
Pat.
If it's not representative, fine.
But this is an outlier. That's the problem with our national discourse.
How do you
too
know
often.
that?
Well, give me the evidence that this has happened any place else. Right now, this is an outlier.
Well, give me the evidence that it hasn't.
Well, listen, you know better than anyone. You can't prove a negative. You should get mad about things that exist, not mad about things you can imagine.
You know what's really interesting?
Barack Hussein Obama.
You like that?
It was a catchy tune, by the way.
It is catchy, I'll tell you.
What's really interesting?
Listen, in schools across America now, they're cutting back on music classes. So we should be happy for this.
What's really interesting to me, as the parent of 7 children, is the idea that so many radio talk show hosts and bloggers, and apparently some parents as well, think that the attention span of a 2nd grader or a 3rd grader is going to be such that this song or any song is going to stick with them beyond, like, that evening. I mean, it's crazy.
Mike, they had that stuff down pretty well. They've been working on it.
I think this song will stick around.
I've memorized it. David Gore and Pat Buchanan, thanks very much.
Sure.